Good morning, YouTube. It's Shayla from Making Lemonade from Lemons, and I figured I would do a little bit of a garden update with you guys. So I'm in the front of my house right now, and this is one of the planter boxes that I planted, and it seems to be doing great. And this is the planter box that my oldest son planted, Nick, and it looks great too. In fact, I kind of think that I like his a little bit better than mine. But anyways, this morning what I did was I came out and I sprinkled some Sluggo Plus. It is OMRI listed for organic gardening because I have some issues with some of my plants in the front, and I'm thinking that it might be slugs. As you see right there, I had a heuchera planted, also known as coral bells, and it was doing fine, and then all of a sudden it just started dying. I do see some like little white moths down in there, and so that's why I think that it might be some kind of infestation, because I had one, that's one of my hostas, and I had one right there as well, and then I had one right there, and as you see, they all died off. This one is doing well, and I really like that color. If you see, it's really pretty, variegated, and then it's got the pink blossoms that shoot up. My azaleas are doing great. I've got mums that are getting ready to bloom, and this heuchera is doing great also. So I'm pretty happy with that. I've got coreopsis there that's getting ready to bloom, and can't really see let's see if I can shade it so you can get the color. It's actually like a really pale yellow. It's called buttermilk. It's really pretty. Anyways, and then over here I have mums, and I believe that that's more coreopsis. That is a Carolina allspice. That is funny because it came like this, and it started to grow leaves, and then this part kind of did nothing except at the bottom, and so it started sprouting from there. As long as the bare roots were good and it's sprouting from there, I'm good. And there's some dianthus, and yeah, I've got plenty of weeds in here that I need to get out to. More mums and dianthus, and there's dianthus. Anyways, coreopsis there. And I'm hoping that they'll fill in. Those are perennials, so I'm hoping that they'll fill in, and next year it'll help bring the bees sooner. So, because some of those are early blooming. I'll show you my purple hull pink eye peas are blooming. You see? Just a pretty white bloom. And I've got several blooms going. They're blooming all over, actually. My pole beans that are going up the chicken wire here that Nick and I put in. As you see, it's being eaten. And if I can, oh, right there's the culprit. Right there, if you see it. Japanese beetle. They're eating it up. I did put out a Japanese beetle trap there, and I'm going to put one, actually I'm going to hang that one somewhere else, but it's just there for now because I didn't have anything to hang it to. I've got to get a hook to hang it on. But anyways, my tomatillas are doing great. We've harvested several from here. I try to let them get to the point where they are going to fall. So like this one is almost ready. I let the papers start to turn yellowish and get papery and like they're drying out. This this is one of my other tomatilla plants, and it's just now starting to put on the tomatillas, but that's fine because I've got plenty here. As you see, you can see the shadow. You can see the tomatilla growing, and then right here it's empty right there, but it's growing there. I think it's great. My cantaloupes are doing great. The Japanese beetles got these before they took over the beans, but as you see, they're starting to turn, so it won't be long until they are ripe and ready to pick. Here is one of my pumpkins that is starting to turn. And then I have another pumpkin that's right there, and that's a pie pumpkin. And I'm really excited about the pie pumpkins, really, to be honest. I want to make some pies with them, and I'll have to see how it goes this year. Like I said, this year was an experiment to see how they grow. Could I grow it in grow bags? What would I need to do? And it's great. I just let them go trail out behind for the most part. And if you see, it is climbing up my fence to my pool that's broken for the moment. So that's why we don't use our pool right now, because the pump and everything is broken. So we have to get that fixed. But I think it's great. It's really cool that it's growing up the fencing there. And this one is my Dixie Queen. And I have not seen a watermelon on this vine yet. Now, there might be one back there, and I just don't see it yet. I had a blacktail mountain watermelon right there. It ended up resting right here on this, which was not good, because what happened was that it started growing into the cage, and then it started cracking. So I had to harvest it early. So it was really good. It was starting to ripen pretty well. And it really was, what part was ripe was pretty tasty. And there's an airplane going overhead, so I don't know how my volume is right now. It was really tasty. It was very good. I just wish that we could have left it on there longer. And there's the mushrooms that are growing in my bags. I have mushrooms in most of my bags. If you look down in there, more mushrooms. Now, I did use some mushroom compost in some of my bags, and in others I didn't, but I still have mushrooms in most of my bags. I had my sugar baby watermelon over here, and I harvested it probably early as well, but there were issues with that one as well, and so I just went ahead and took them in. I haven't opened up the sugar baby one yet. I did find something in here. I'm trying to get to it. I found something in amongst the grasses yesterday whenever I was checking on my plants yesterday, and I'll show you. I found that there is another watermelon. Yay! So that one is also a sugar baby watermelon. So that one is pretty. It's actually, I think that this one is ready to be picked because it's got the indentations and stuff right here. So I can't see where the closest tendril is. That's the only thing. I can't find the closest tendril, but I think that this one is ready to be picked. But it was hidden up underneath all of that foliage, so I couldn't see it until now. But that's great. So, it's great. All right, my squash is putting on like one squash a week, which is fine. I'm fine with that. Because we don't eat a ton of squash. We like to saute it or fry it. I haven't tried making it into dehydrating it into chips. I will try that. There's one of my San Marzanos, and it's putting out pretty decently. We did test taste the San Marzanos, and this is one of my other tomatillo plants, and it's got some tomatillos that are growing. But we test tasted the Romas and the San Marzanos, and we kind of have decided as a family that we aren't fond of the Romas and the San Marzanos just to eat them. Even to put them in our salads, we really wouldn't enjoy them because they have more of a grainy texture. And so, I mean, that's just texture-wise, the flavor is good, and we're going to enjoy them in sauce, but we just don't care for them in just by themselves. And this camera is not picking up the full color of this cosmos. It is gorgeous. But anyways, those are my cosmos and my wild flower bed. It's just going crazy. I had a sucker that I didn't realize was growing out of control that broke off, so I tried to plant it here. It's still alive, although the leaves look awful. So I'm still going to keep watering it and trying to see if I can get it to revive. So we'll see. I'll give you an update on that. Like I said, I've got plenty of tomatoes that are ripening. We've also test tasted Here's one of my, if you can see that. This is Boxcar Willie, and it's a huge tomato. And then there's another one that is right here on the other side. That's even bigger. I have these wildflowers too that are growing. To be completely honest, I have no idea what this is. I actually would love to know what this is. It's really pretty, but I've got it growing too, and I've got some bachelor buttons back there. This is just mostly grass at this point. Grass and other weeds. My Brad's Atomic, we have started harvesting these, and we just kind of take them off. We've only gotten like 1 or 2 at a time, and we just eat them. We've tasted the Boxcar Willie and the Rutgers, and here's another one of my Boxcar Willies. If you can, I don't know if you can see that either. They're all under leaves. Anyways, they're really pretty. And the Boxcar Willies have like a really smooth texture. My husband said almost buttery texture. And they've got really good flavor, so I like them. The Rutgers, I also would like them on a tomato sandwich or burger or whatever. My kale, as you see, is starting to grow back nicely. I have black beans that are right here. It's just 2 plants that I was just experimenting with. It's got some dried beans on there already, but it's putting out more shoots. So I'm just gonna let it go and see what happens. My experiment. There's my peppermint and chocolate mint, my lemon balm, oregano and purple basil. Here are my sweet chocolate peppers. And they are doing really well. There's 5 plants in this bag. It's a 10-gallon bag, and there's 5 plants, and they are thriving. They're doing great. Look at these zinnias. Like, this zinnia is up to, it's up to my forehead. That's how tall it is. I know I'm short. I'm 5'2", but it's gorgeous. This is the meteor zinnia, and I love it. Not only for, it's pretty big. I know you can't see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see, but it's kind of hard. I'm short, so it's hard for me to get it at a good angle for you guys. My banana peppers, they're doing great. These are my Horizon bells, so they will be an orange bell pepper, and that's my biggest one, and it should be turning soon. Here's one of my jalapeno plants. It's by itself in a 5-gallon bag. Looks like ants all in there, but there's one of my cucumber plants, and I've just kind of been winding it around inside the bag as it grows, just to see what happens. And this one is kind of sprawled out, and I've let it sprawl out, and I'm getting 1 to 2 cucumbers a day from each of them. And more tomatoes. This one's an Amish paste that needs to be tied up. This was a later planting, like 2 weeks after I planted all of my others. So, but it's already gotten to where it's huge. This one was planted at the same time as that Amish paste was, and this is an alpaca. And I have not tried the Apalka or the Amish paste to see how I would like them by themselves. These are Anaheims, and they're doing great. I've got 3 plants in that bag. These are my Tabasco peppers, and there's 3 in that 7-gallon bag, and they're growing great too. Here's cherry tomatoes are going great. This one is Chadwick cherry. We haven't gotten any of the Chadwick cherry yet. We have gotten some of our black cherry, and they're doing great too. This is a planter that my oldest planted, and if you see this variegated lantana, I love this plant. I want more of these. The coleus is blooming. I've got some onions down there that are getting shaded out, so I'm probably going to move those so they get some more sun. Then, what I haven't shown you yet, these are pepperoncinis, and they're doing great. They're loaded with pepperoncinis. This one is a poblano. There's a couple of poblano plants in there as well, and they're doing great. And what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to take some of them green, but most of them I'm going to leave until they turn red. And then once they turn red, I will harvest them and dry them, probably roast them, dry them, and make chili powder. This is my purple Russian plant, the one that is constantly leaning, and right now we have it standing straight up. It's my challenge, but it's doing good. So it needs to be tied to the top, and then I'm probably going to get another 6 to 8 foot pole and train it to come back down, because I still have all of July, August, and September. So I've got 3 more months of growing. So that's, like I said, that's my purple Russian. That is huge. That boxcar Willie over there is pretty tall too. These are my cayenne peppers. This one looks like it's been eaten. Get rid of that one. Cayenne peppers. I've got quite a few in there, and I have a lone jalapeno pepper in with it. Then over here, these are more bell peppers, but these are a mix of green, which is the Emerald Giant, and then I have, the one that I said over there that I said was orange, was a Horizon Bell, was actually a Golden Cow Wonder. I have the Horizon Bell in here. Anyways, that's that. And in here are my Cubanelles. And the Cubanelles are delicious. I love these. I would eat these in place of regular green bell peppers any day. They're sweeter, they've got a milder flavor, they don't have as much of a, what my mom and I call a green flavor. So I love them, and they're used quite often in Italian cooking. So I'm really excited about these. I really love these, and I definitely will grow these again next year. And this is a planter that I planted. So my son and I both, in the front and out here in the back, planted one planter each, and they're doing great. I'm really, really pleased with how the planters did. And we planted them to help to attract pollinators. An update for my sunflowers and my zinnias, which if you see here, the birds are still getting into my flowers. So, and I'll show you the feeder. If you see the feeder, yeah, it doesn't look like hardly any, I'm sorry, it's not focusing in. It doesn't look like hardly any of the, food has been eaten. So that has not helped. I guess the birds just prefer the fresh seeds to the bird feeder. So see, that's what they've done to my sunflowers. So I guess what's going to have to happen is next year I'm going to have to plant more so that I can have some. There's some, I've got coreopsis in there that's growing, but I also have some coneflower. So I'm really excited about those. Okay, so that's what's going on in our garden. I still have onions that I never planted. I think I'm going to wait until I know it's a mess, isn't it? I'm probably going to just wait until fall and plant them. Because at this point, I don't know, I might plant them this month. We'll see. See what they do. Like I said, everything is just an experiment this year for me. So anyways, thank you so much for coming along with me in the garden. I do have some nice onions that are growing still. Although something has cut off the tops of a couple of them. Anyways, but thanks so much for joining me in the garden this morning and spending time here and watching my update. And if you like the video, if you just click like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and we'll see you later.